Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone, to Underground Sound, even
deeper.
And today we're talking about some topics that have been going on in the rap world that are apparently new here. So starting off here with Cardi B. So you said you didn't know anything about this going on.
No. I have no idea.
Nothing. Do you have any opinions on Cardi B just in general?
No.
No? Not. Are you a fan or don't really kind of impartial?
I don't really listen to her music.
Okay, so impartial, I guess.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, she, or I guess not really she did, but someone found an old video of her from just a couple years ago, I think, of her saying herself with her own words that she would essentially trick men into coming with her into like hotel rooms and whatnot, and then would drug them and then rob them. And so that obviously is a huge talk. Some people want to go as far as compare it to Bill Cosby. Others think it's just totally justifiable within the genre of the music.
Okay, all right. If people want to take this stuff seriously, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, you hear something like that and people start freaking out and they're like, that's crazy. But it just goes to show that it happens to both guys and girls. You know, like... It's a double-edged sword, you know? I don't know, man. I mean, that sucks that she did that. But, all the same, like, you kind of just gotta go forward. She's in a different place now. I'm sure people, like, starting out, like, had a bunch of, like, hard times, you know?
And that's a big thing people were talking about was how, like, well, it's not like she's still doing this. The big difference people like to point out with her and Cosby, despite one being rape and one just being robbery, is that Cosby was already famous. He was essentially abusing his power, whereas Cardi was really she was just trying to make a living. However, there's some people finding out, like, oh, she was using the money to make her music and get, like, studio time. So, like, it wasn't really a living. It was, like, on top. I don't know. It gets kind of convoluted. I think it's definitely blown out of proportion, though.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really that big of a deal. I mean, shoot, Kodak Black's got a rape charge on him right now, and I got buddies seeing him in concert just like next week. Like, that's no big deal.
It's messed up stuff. It's all messed up. But it happens. It's not a kind world out there. Like people are getting way more sensitive these days to like what's going on around them. But the truth is it's not always a nice world. Like, that's the fact of it. I mean,
sensitivity aside, like, regardless of, like, PC culture and all that, I think, obviously, drugging and robbing someone is gonna get a bit headlines there.
Oh, obviously.
It's definitely an issue, but, I mean, well, one, it's like, we don't even really have proof. I mean, she just said it, and, like, she could have easily just been lying on the screen. Like, it doesn't...
I mean, stuff happens, who knows? She could have said it just to, like, you know, get some respect from whoever. Yeah,
I mean, it could have just been a weird publicity ploy.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that a buddy of mine, he pointed out, he thinks this story gets really interesting if one of the victims comes forward and essentially says, like, yeah, she took advantage of me. How do you think that changes the story much, if there's actual victims that start coming out?
Yeah, I mean, there's also tons of robbery that goes unreported, too. Like,
absolutely.
Like, that, she's just getting the spotlight because she's a famous rapper. Like, there's so much robbery that happens. And if one guy came forward and said, hey, I was, drugged and robbed because I took this lady back to my apartment or whatever, like, I don't think you'd get that much publicity. But since it's Cardi B, it's a big thing.
Absolutely, yeah. I think, like, nobody really wants to put blame on Cardi. Like, I think a lot of her fans are, like, supporting her and whatnot. I've seen a lot of different artists, like, defend her. I think where you start seeing people change sides is if people start coming forward to where they can actually put a face to someone that, like, she actually harmed in a way. I think that's where things start getting interesting. Because right now, it's, like, essentially the people she harmed are, like, ghosts. Like, we don't... Like, there's no face to go along with it. We don't know who these people are. Like, she just said guys. Like, that's, like, we have literally no idea on who it is that she's harmed.
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of like a big media stunt. Like, honestly.
So you really do think it's a media stunt? Because I think that's possible.
Well, no, it's not a media stunt. I believe that if it happened, it happened. But obviously the media is going to try and get as much of a story out of this as they can.
Yeah.
When it's like, it happens. Like stuff like that happens.
Yeah, you'd think by now, if someone would come forward, they would have.
It's just...
Because it's been a story now for a little while. I guess you haven't been keeping up for it.
No, I haven't.
It's not the newest.
But just, like, hearing about it, it makes me think, like, you know, this is just because it's Cardi B. Like...
Yeah.
Like, it's such a... It's like one of those magazine covers that you see in, like, the grocery store checkout lane. It's like... I mean, that... Bad stuff happens. It's not good.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Where if it was someone smaller or just not famous, at least it wouldn't be anything.
Exactly. Like, they're just bringing this to the forefront because it's Cardi B. But I mean, it's still like it sucks that those people that happened to those people.
Definitely.
So,
obviously taking advantage of like that definitely isn't good. But yeah, it's not the worst thing that can happen.
I mean, it's obviously not the worst thing. There's bad things that happen all the time. But anyway,
so are you gonna listen to her music now?
No, just not change the way I feel about her music.
That's interesting though. Yeah, I've listened to her Invasion of Privacy album, which was considered a critical success. Critics loved it. It's sold through the roof. I mean, hell, that's why I won a Grammy.
I mean,
I actually like thought it was like the definition of mediocre though when it comes like to me personally. But like it definitely wasn't bad. But it was just like there was nothing impressive on it. And
sure, I can agree that she's a talented artist, but it doesn't mean that I enjoy her music.
Yeah. That definitely happens with a lot of artists. The more you dig, it's like, okay, talented, but not my style.
Yeah.
I don't think Cardi B really excels at anything though. And like it doesn't hurt. It definitely doesn't help that she doesn't write her own lines either. Like that.
Oh, she doesn't?
Nah, she has writers. Like she doesn't have ghostwriters, so that's better. But like she doesn't write her own stuff, so that's kind of...
She credits them in the songs.
Yeah, she has her writers. She credits them.
Look, as long as everybody's credited,
that's kind of how I feel. Like, but it's definitely extra credit if you do it yourself.
Well, obviously, that just means you're a more talented person.
Right. That's how I look at it.
Like, you're a more well-rounded artist. Some artists just don't do it that way, and they're successful. So more power to them. You got a team of creative people. One person who's super creative is obviously more impressive than a group of people, but either way.
Very true.
Still music.
That's very true. Very true. All right, you want to move on to the next little subject matter I had planned? I didn't tell you about these other ones.
All right, go for it. Shoot, I'm ready for anything.
All right, so MF Doom did an interview with Spin. Did you by chance see that?
When was it?
Just last week, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
no,
it was a new interview. And in this, they were essentially just kind of interviewing, talking about the 15th anniversary of Mad Villainy coming up, which I think was actually just this weekend.
Yeah, I saw that on my Google News feed.
Okay, yeah. So they were kind of talking to him just to kind of kind of bring up the album.
Yeah.
And in that, he talks about a lot of different things, what he's been up to personally. He talks about his kid a little bit more, how that affected him. Really opens up a lot more. Definitely doesn't seem to have a persona in this interview like he does in other ones. It definitely seems more like Daniel Dumoulin in this one.
Well, good for him.
Yeah. So
I mean, like, that's also not his style, though. He kind of he likes to keep things secret.
Yeah.
So that
that's why this interview I think is really interesting.
Just the music,
Right.
I wonder what led him to do an interview like that that's super personal.
That's a good question. I don't know what led him to do the interview because I'm sure he's been offered plenty of times by different publications and stuff.
Yeah,
definitely a huge name. But yeah, so it does seem a little weird. But good for him opening up. Obviously, fans would love to learn a little more about him, I think.
Oh yeah.
But in this, he actually makes some interesting statements in which he says he doesn't listen to rap. It just makes him money. He mainly listens to jazz and instrumental music. And rapping was something he just kind of did in his own just for the fun of it, and then it started making him a lot of money. So then he was like, well, I guess I just keep doing this then. So it's not even really his cup of tea. I thought that was really interesting. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think that's really cool that he's able to get inspiration from jazz and other music and create rap.
That's what I thought was super cool that people weren't really picking out. Because when the interview came out, all the headlines was MF Doom only raps to make money, sell out.
I'm sure he listens to rap though. I'm sure that.
Yeah, I mean he definitely listens to a little. Obviously, he's good friends with the Wu-Tang Clan.
And he's made other rap albums
Yeah.
Like a legit rap album. So, I mean, you gotta have some
You don't have
music,
other rappers featured on your songs if you don't even listen to their music, at least.
But, like, what... I mean, obviously, his beats are a bit... What's the word? Avant-garde.
Yes.
Let's say.
Yeah, very much so.
So...
Lots of samples.
I think that's super unique, and I like how he's approached his music and his beats. Like, it's impressive that he's gotten that from jazz. That's cool.
Yeah, I think coming from a jazz and instrumental side, when it that mainly as your musical background, is really cool and interesting. I think definitely a lot of artists don't come from that at all. They listen to rap and then they get into rap, so they just keep going with that like kind of cliche style. Whereas he came from a literally different background of music to where he's able to make then literally different music. So that makes it. I think that explains a little bit of his music better and makes it very, very interesting. But yeah, when I first, I don't know, it was kind of weird seeing that he wasn't really super into rap music, being the rapper that he is. It was just a little kind of threw me off. I like kind of wanted to say it ruins the music, but at the same time, it just makes it, I think, a little more complex and a little more interesting. I don't know. What do you think?
Exactly that.
I
agree.
Just more interesting in general. Yeah, it's weird. It's very interesting though, because you don't hear from him too much. He's not a talker. Listen to Old Town Row Old Town Road.
Lil Nas X.
Yes, Lil Nas X. Do you know the little drama that's been going on with that one?
No.
So
enlighten me.
Obviously the song started popping off. It started reaching the billboards for top country songs. And
top country songs.
Yeah, it started making the list.
That's fantastic.
But then the billboards took it down and said that it didn't have enough country elements to it. That, of course, sparked a bunch of backlash, saying the instrumentals were all country, the lyrics were pretty country, that like it definitely exemplified qualities, but Billboard said no, they took it down, and then actually just this morning, I think it released, the remix featuring Billy Ray Cyrus came out, which I think personally is a middle finger to the Billboard saying, we're going to make this country whether you like it or not. And so it's really the same song. It's just now there's a part that Billy Ray Cyrus sings.
That's amazing. It's getting so much harder to classify music, and I love that. That's fantastic. Like, that's so cool that we're making these new genres like rap and country. What? Who has done that before? That's amazing. Yeah,
it is really cool, and this is, I mean, when you listen to the song more and more, it definitely shows how blurred the lines are, because it's a trap beat with country instrumentals, with country lyrics, but delivered in a rap fashion. It blurs the lines between country and rap, I think, pretty elegantly, that it makes it super interesting to hear new music like that. And I hope more genres do kind of get infused like that, or more examples of this come up, because it is really interesting and creative to see this kind of route be taken. But so you have heard the song?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Many times. It's like on my listening playlist. I listen to that like every day.
I must say I'm not a huge fan, but I do appreciate the creative direction it took.
I love it.
So what do you think of Billboards, though, taking it down from their own list? Do you think that was disrespectful? You think it was justified? What are your thoughts on that?
They're going to do what they're going to do. I don't know many people who base what they listen to off of Billboard charts.
Yeah, no one does.
So I think that's just like.
But in terms of accolades, though, I mean, people look at songs and be like, "Oh, how high did they chart?" They look at albums, things like that.
Accolades are just how many people can you get to listen to your music. I mean, that's what the real goal is, right?
But if they're taken off of billboards, then like you don't get some of those accolades you might not have, or you might have deserved.
Look, if people like music, then they're gonna seek out good music, and they're gonna find it. All
right.
So like the billboards, it's not great, but people will find the music.
That's true. Very true. What have you been listening to recently?
Oh, gosh, man. I've been on a real hot Gunna streak.
Oh, he's been popping off. He was on the XXL freshman list for this year.
He's so good.
Or the nomination, sorry. There's no list out yet.
He's just fun to listen to. And, like, I was initially not a big fan of, like, the auto-tune voice with rapping. But it's kind of grown on me. It creates a nice melody.
It's really been coming back the past couple of years now.
Like
I kind of hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't about it just because I thought it'd be more impressive if they were actually able to sing. But like, honestly, like, they're still creating the melodies of the song, and they
Yeah.
still
Yeah, no.
dropping lyrics, and like, I like it. Like, it's something new.
Yeah, the creativity side of it's definitely still there. Nothing taken back from it. I just don't think it sounds. I think when it comes to autotune, you really have to. It really has to be justified for the song, and I think you're starting to see it get a little overused at this point, to the point where I'm kind of like worried if it keeps growing again to kind of like where it was in like the early 2000s when it was kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
So like I don't know.
You ever listen to DaBaby?
Oh yeah, dude, he's getting so big.
Did you watch the music video with him and Offset?
Offset's the worst actor in the world.
For the Babysitter.
He just sat there with the same facial expressions, with the same attitude the entire video. Props to DaBaby. DaBaby was going crazy, kept throwing out money.
I love that music video.
DaBaby was doing his stuff. Oh my gosh, what have you been listening to from DaBaby though? Like, what are your any particular album or certain songs?
I was just listening to the Babysitter.
Babysitter, okay.
I really haven't like dove into his music yet, but I like that song.
I came across him maybe just 2.5 weeks ago, pretty like right before, like literally like maybe 2 days before he started popping up on my like Twitter feed and stuff, because he's getting big now.
Yeah.
But I listened to all his mixtapes and stuff. He's good. He's got some that humor in his music. It's been missing for a while, and he nails it on the head, especially in his music videos. He is a funny dude. I recommend Blank Blank, Texas Ranger, and Goin' Baby. I think are my personal favorites. But
I'll check him out.
He's interesting. He's definitely getting there. Oh my gosh, I've said he's too many times. But that is an artist right there that is definitely going to be mainstream within the end of this year.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's a big name. He's exciting. How much Jay Electronica have you listened to?
Not a lot.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot. It's hard to find a lot from him. I had heard Exhibit A and Exhibit C like almost when it came out, I think, like years and years ago. And I thought Exhibit A was okay, and I thought Exhibit C was a masterpiece. Huge fan of Exhibit C. Have you heard Exhibit C?
Maybe.
That's probably the biggest song he has, I think. That song is so good. But no, I started just recently going through more of his catalog, which is super short. Really, it's just the Style Wars EP and a 15-minute song / EP titled The Pledge or Eternal Sunshine. And it's the most creative piece of music I think I've heard in a while. It's what I would describe as a 15-minute video with no visuals. It's really something unique. Are you playing Exhibit C?
No, I'm looking at the lyrics.
Oh. Yeah, he's...
They call me J Electronica. F that. Call me J Elec Hanukkah. J Elec Yamaka. J Elec Ramadan Muhammad Asalamaka. Wow, I definitely didn't say all that right, but these lyrics are so nice.
The best thing about his Style Wars EP is it's actually produced almost primarily by Jay Dilla, who pretty legendary. Actually, I'll play this for you right now. This is this is off his EP as well. This is So What You Sayin'.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, he's good, dude. I always knew he was considered by some to be like one of the best that just doesn't release enough music to really get that consideration. But I never really dug into it too much on my own time, and man, I wish I did earlier, because gosh, he's got some bars, man, some great production value. I love that beat right there.
He does.
Oh my gosh. But what about him do you know? 'Cause
nothing.
You just know who he is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a hidden dude. He does not promote himself much. I would say even less so than MF Doom.
Oh, really?
He definitely. I mean, he's had an album that the studio that he was under contract to release like a decade ago.
Wow.
And he's been sued, I think, by them a couple times for not releasing it. and he just doesn't care. He just takes the fines and doesn't doesn't release the album.
Props to him.
He's just like, no, I don't want to release it. I'm like, okay. Yeah, but him, DaBaby. Do you listen to No Name much?
No.
No?
Never heard of his name.
Oh, it's her name.
Oh, her. All right.
She is. She's probably my favorite female rapper right now.
Wow.
She's awesome. She just released a new song, Song 32. It's really just a freestyle, but it's really good. That's worth checking out.
Alrighty.
No
Name.
Yeah, she's one of the very few independent artists that have made it fairly big. She performed on, I think, Jimmy Fallon last year. She's definitely doing well. She's definitely doing well as an independent artist, so
good for her.
Props to her.
I'll check her music out.
She is definitely worth it, yeah. Have you heard... Did you ever listen to the Freddie Gibbs and Madlib Pinata album?
No.
That's like a underground like little gem. Definitely worth checking out. It's kind of like it's like a modern classic, I guess, kind of. People swear by it. It's good. It's really good, and they got a sequel coming up within like the next couple months or so. They haven't put an actual release date, but they released a single, Flat Tummy Tea. That song is just... I hate to play so much music, but you got to hear this, dude.
Alrighty.
This, literally just like the first minute. Yeah, he just goes hard on that part, dude.
That was good.
I'm excited for the album whenever it comes out. That should be good.
My friend just introduced me to Muramasa.
Okay. Yeah. What's the song? What's the
Lovesick?
Yeah.
It's nice.
That's awesome. There's one more though. Shoot.
I don't remember. It's cool that he's like just a producer and he has like artists come and just rap over his beats.
Yeah, definitely. Some awesome. Oh, What If I Go? That's the other song I really like.
What If I Go?
Muramasa.
Alrighty.
Yeah, Muramasa's cool. Definitely interesting there. I like that. I haven't dug into him yet, but Quelly Chris, I think that's how you pronounce the name. Have you heard of him?
Mm-mm.
I just came across some song that was recommended to me on YouTube called Obamacare. I was like, well, let's look at it, and I like instantly hooked. I was like, okay, I wrote his name down in my notes. I'm like, I'll get back to you when I got some more time.
That's cool. Dude, I love artists like
I don't have a whole lot of info on him, but I will be getting more soon. He is Obamacare is a good song. We'll see what else he has.
Alrighty.
I don't know. The Game is supposed. Do you listen to The Game much?
A little bit.
Oh gosh, I think his album, The Documentary, is like super underrated. Love that album. He's got a good amount of stuff. He's supposed to have a new album in the works. And I heard this like 4 months ago. I don't know. I thought it was like done when like I heard the rumors, but still not out. So I don't know what's come of that. Have you listened to Dead Prez at all?
Yeah, I've listened to some of their music.
Really? I've never like listened to them before. Someone mentioned them, and I was like, I don't know who that is. So I put them on my list. What do you think of Dead Prez?
Oh, I mean, they have some like really classic songs. Like
which ones? I'll be sure to look at those first.
Sugar. Let me see.
It seems like what is it? Get Free is like their classic album, or something like that. I haven't listened. I'll probably end up listening to some of them.
Hip hop, like the top one there. It's bigger than hip hop. You hear that one?
Maybe.
Oh, dude, that's like. I feel like everybody knows that song. Yeah, Sugar. You just gotta. I feel like you're gonna recognize.
Maybe I just never recognized the artist name.
Yeah.
I'll probably be checking them out more over the weekend. I just have them on my list because I'm like, I gotta check this out.
Yeah.
That's it for you. That's it for me.
Alrighty, sounds good.
I've been Emerson.
I'm Joe.
And once again, we are Underground Sound. Even
deeper.